That is being recorded. Yeah, it is recording. Okay, good. So my idea today is to give an introduction to accountability. We won't be long. We're not going to be more than 20 minutes, half an hour, unless there's a whole lot of feedback and to discuss it. And as I said on my message, if you've heard my message, is that my focus this year is to input what is uniquely something that I can input and not to duplicate what other resources are out there. In addition to that, it's because everyone has been with us for at least 3 to 6 months. Some of us obviously much longer. You're at a stage now. Most of you have been at the stage, but many of you now are getting to the stage where if you're not able to be independent and work your own way forward, by now, then you're not going to be able to do it independently, to be honest. So there is a question of me kind of allowing a bit of a vacuum so that independent people can move in, because most of us, no one is telling me I must get up on a Monday morning, I must plan my day, I must plan my week, I must be motivated, I must give my actions, I must look after all my team members, all the different projects, what's happening with all of them. No one is telling me to do that every morning. I do that to my teenage kids to say, get up so you can go to school. But I expect all of us to be mature adults who are professionals who are getting on with our careers. And me coddling that is not honoring you guys. So I just want to acknowledge that. So if I have done it, my apologies. So what I can assist with is a bit of a, how's it, Nella? Do you mind if I mute you for now? What I can do now is say, okay, what is some of the resources I can put in our place that can help us and to go us going forward. So we are doing things like, for example, the Build Africa conference Steve Johnson's doing. So obviously, it's a big investment for those outside Cape Town to go there, but those of us who are in Cape Town, it's one of those basic things that we just put on our diary. We obviously are going. There are free tickets. If 350 Rand is an issue, well, you come to me and I'll give you a free ticket because I've invested in that and I'm willing to do it. Obviously, if you can buy your own ticket at 350 Rand, you just do it and that's what you do. Those are the kind of things. If there's a family time meeting every second week, we pitch up at that because that's a resource that's given us, and it's not just for fun. It's actually a resource, and Steve Johnson's not doing it for fun. And quite frankly, even if he did do it for fun, it would be immaterial. It's a resource that we've got, which adds to our business. Therefore, I go to it because it's a community. Which, how do I, as I put in my video, one of the ways of building a business is to build a network. One of the key, and if not the main factor of my success, any success I might have, is because of my network. I can pick up the phone to someone in Joburg and say, a big landlord or whatever, hey, Marcelo, glad you can make it. On big networks or socializing, whatever, a lot of the time it's about building my network. You need to be at events, you need to be in the Monday morning meetings on the family times. Try and say something or be involved where you can, get to know the people, because that is, now if you need to, so I've got a referral in Hermanus, I know who to go to. I've got a referral in East London, I know who to go to. Or otherwise, I'm part of the community that when I say something, people now hear me. I've got some weightiness within that community. So these are the kind of things that create our success. So these are the kind of different things. There's a whole lot of technical experience. Hey, Claudius, glad you can make it. I'm going to meet you guys, if you don't mind. Yeah, I mean, and when it comes to technical knowledge now, I am planning to do some more webinars this year. I'm still working out a plan for that. And I also just don't want to have someone that is already there. For example, why talk about CMAs when there's some fantastic resources that Stuart is already providing us in EXP. So look carefully at the meetings that are done every week for us as EXP agents. Look at them very carefully. I tend to gloss over it because I don't need to go to most of those, or I don't feel it's my priority at the moment. But you as agents that are on full-time as selling agents, look at the thing every week. It's sometimes a bit confusing, although they seem to have simplified it a little. And see that Stuart on Tuesday is doing a program on buyers, how to work with buyers. Join that so it's in your diary for 11 o'clock every Tuesday, whatever time he has it. So pick and choose those resources which are provided for us. We pick and choose those fruit and we then use it and we eat those fruit and it adds to us. So this is what we do as professionals. So yeah, one of the key things what we got to build our network on is accountability. Accountability. So how does that work out? How does that work out practically? So accountability, I just Googled it. It's the evaluation on the actions we commit to. It's the evaluation on the actions we commit to. So I don't know if there's any comments that anyone's got. When I say accountability, how does it make you feel? What do you think about it? Does it even, I mean, it doesn't have to make sense to you. For me, for example, it seems, oh, freak, I'm going to be under pressure now. That's sometimes my immediate. And I'm easy. It's accountable is easy. Accountability is easy for me when I'm doing it anyway. Accountability when, oh boy, I'm going to be accountability on. I'm accountability to my best mate who's going to ask me some hectic question on my spiritual life. That's accountability, which I may not like. It might be good for me, but so what is your guys' feeling on the word accountability, and is it important? Any thoughts? Come, you guys are self-agents. You should have something to say.
I will say, David, you must be responsible for all actions that you take, and you must account to it, in short.
Okay. So you're accountable. So you're saying accountability, which I think is a crucial thing. You're accountable for the actions you do. So there's a sense of responsible. If I walk across the road without looking, I must be accountable for the fact that I may be run over. Okay, so that's one way of being accountable. If I do something stupid or do something great, I must be accountable for that action. What other way can the accountability be interpreted as?
Hi, David, team.
Mm-hmm.
I think with accountability, I think as agents, if you're looking at the mandates that we have, specifically at the terms of the responsibilities that we have as an agent, those are things that we're putting out there that we say we will do, for the owners that we are assisting in terms of selling or renting. And for that, we are then held accountable by them to hold up to those responsibilities and those commitments that we're making. So it also has a connection to integrity. We're saying we're going to do, the photos for the adverts, and we're going to follow up with all the inquiries and so forth. So at the end of the day, at the end of the week, we should be able to look back and say, well, I got 20 inquiries, but I only got back to 5 of them. So I'm accountable to get back to all the other 15. So it should direct us and guide us in terms of what we should be doing, because we are essentially responsible to that and are committed to our clients to do that.
Okay, so in addition to what Themba was saying is being accountable for the actions that we have done, it's also being accountable for the commitments that we've been committed to, the actions that we've committed to. So one is accountable for after we've done it, and one is accountability for what we said we're going to be doing. Right. So, yep, that's fantastic. I commit to doing this service level for this as a part of this mandate, and therefore I'm accountable to the client on that. What do you think is when someone is accountable to the actions that they've committed to for a client, and being accountable means they've actually done it? Do you think there is a consequence to that? In other words, is there a benefit? Is there a difference between someone who's accountable to a client and takes it seriously versus someone who is not accountable? Is there a difference? And if there is, how would you feel differently about those two different parties?
Yeah, David, I think what we've touched on a while back, I'm not sure if the others were part of that meeting at that time, was of trust.
Mm-hmm.
And we're talking about relational trust and I don't know if it's operational trust. Sorry, I've lost that other word, but without the term, but it's basically a competency trust. So are we able to do a thing? So do we have the skills and abilities to do that thing? And then also relational trust. Are we trustworthy as individuals? So I think with regards to this responsibilities that we have, and then being held accountable for those responsibilities to the client, if we say, look, and I know that I fall foul of it every now and then, in the mandate it says that you'll be giving feedback like once a week, and I don't always get around to doing that. Sometimes it's maybe only twice a week, or sorry, every 2 weeks. So in that sense, there's maybe a little bit of slip up where the clients can say, well, I don't know if I can trust Clinton that much because he said he was going to get back to me every week and I haven't heard from him this week or in 2 weeks. So I think we run the risk of not being trusted as much by the owners as if we had stuck exactly to that. So that's one area that I know I need to work on. And I think the unfortunate thing is agents in the industry or just generally estate agents clients have the perception of estate agents as being, just sort of serving their own needs and pushing clients into corners to get that result. So accepting offers that are maybe not ideal, but it's going to pay the bills for that agent, in time to come. So, I think that's a barrier that we need to overcome as honest, ethical agents.
Yeah.
So trust is a very important thing that we need to build up. Yeah, and definitely in terms of accountability, that's one thing that the owners are going to hold us to. So we run the risk of losing business, getting a bad reputation, and losing the mandate and potential future business and referrals from that particular client that we're dealing with, that we're not holding up to what we said we would do.
Yeah. No, I mean, trust, we could have a whole 3-hour session just on trust. Trust as a foundation to good business is absolutely critical. And it's something I'm seeing more and more aware of within our team. When I deal with our senior management on our rental management side of our business, which is very hectic, the daily crap that we take and the pressures that we handle from large clients. I mean, the pressure we've got in the 1,000-unit development at the moment is unbelievable. It's really hectic. But what keeps us going is the fact that when Colette says she's going to do something, she does it. And that's like, I never have to think about, there's no doubt, is it going to be done or not? If there's an issue, she will have an argument and we'll debate it, because there's a trust that I trust her that she's going to do what she's going to say she's going to do. And there's also trust that she's fully committed to our sense of excellence and our sense of wanting to do well with the client, wanting to do well with our team members. And because we've got that foundation, we have zero wasted energy on worrying about motive and worrying about competence. All our energy is being put into how do we solve the needs of the client. And you know how powerful that is? That is so incredibly powerful. I'm going to meet now with in fact, is it in my diary? It's 11 o'clock today on finance. And I don't have to worry about, is Hanneke committed to the good of Chorus? Is she committed? If you guys, the old days when your sales commission went through Chorus, I never have to thought, oh, is Hanneke going to do it? Like if Clinton says an email, Temper says, is my payment going to happen today? You never have to worry, is it going to be done? It was just going to be done. Obviously, if the money was in. Yeah, you know how powerful that is? Because we're dealing with the needs of the client and how to close deals. And imagine with our clients who are dealing with us, they're not worrying about, is Clinton or Temper going to get back to me, or Boosie going to get back to me? They know it's going to happen. And Boosie said, I'm going to get back to you in the morning, it happens. Do you know how powerful that is? So trust is really great as a foundation to our success. But anyway, I just want to move it on to accountability in sense of our own goals. This is really what I want to move it to. So we've spoken about the actions, the accountability for the actions we've done, and accountability to our clients. What about the idea of accountability to ourselves and having a sense of trusting ourselves, right? So that's really where I want to come to is the context or the environment of I'm committed, well, I've got a particular goal, and am I really that serious or determined to get it? And and in the plan that I've set to achieve that, am I willing to be accountable to that? That's quite, I mean, on some silly things, I've got a dietitian I go to every 3 weeks. I've got a biokinetist I go to every 3 weeks because my body's getting old and I need to get it better. I need to lose about 10 kilograms to get through the 100K trail run I want to do at the end of the year and so forth. Now, those are small little things. I know it's silly. They compared to the bigger scheme of achieving financial freedom and financial success, it's trite. But for me, I'm just kind of thinking, I've got a business coach which I meet once a month as well, and I pay big money for him. Now, the reason I have that is because, and I'm not saying I'm doing this very well, because my dietitian, for example, because I know I'm seeing her in 2 weeks' time, I need to kind of be careful what I eat today. Well, I normally think about it after I've had that chocolate cake. Shucks, I'm seeing her in 2 weeks. I need to adjust but there is some sense of accountability. And she's not a hardcore on my case. And the biokinetist couldn't care if I do the exercises or not. But because I'm paying money, it's not a lot of money, but it's a little bit of money to the dietitian and to the biokinetist, that if I don't do this work, if I don't do the exercises, what the hell am I wasting my time going to for every 3 weeks for? So I need to do my exercises later this morning or tonight, whatever. And the reason is because I'm paying a few $100 to go to every 3 weeks. So that's a sense of accountability that I have. It's an internal accountability to do better myself, because in the greater scheme, in the longer term, my body needs to be stronger and my body needs to be more healthy. So what are the things that we are setting up? And then I've got a business coach, and there again, he doesn't really care if I do it or not. My business coach will be a bit more hardcore and say, David, what the hell are you doing? Why are you spending money on me if you're not doing this stuff? So, but I've got a deadline that when I look at my actions, and I look at my actions on Friday evening, and I've got to put my actions together and what I'm doing in the next few weeks. It's in context of when I speak to, in fact, I was supposed to see him last week, but there were some delays with a big client, so I'm seeing him in a week's time. But there was a context that I'm seeing Mark, my coach, on Wednesday. Therefore, I need to check what are my goals and what are my actions, and have I actually done them? There's a sense of, do you know how powerful that is for those in the rest of the business, for you guys to know, and for the less on the sales side, but more on the rental side. For the rental business, they don't really know about it, the rental team, but there must be some kind of comfort to know that I'm accountable to someone to do the actions. If I say I care for my team and the guy says, okay, well, what do you mean by caring for your team? That's what my coach says. What do you mean? How does that work out? What does that mean practically? Oh, no, I must do X, Y, Z. So I said, okay, David, you committed to do X, Y, Z. Let's see at the end of next month whether you've done it or not. Right? So that's all that we're trying to do from yourself on the sales side is it's in context of what is the goal you want to achieve. Some of you said you want 480,000 turnover by the end of the year. Some of you said you want 2 sales a month. Are you that serious about it? I mean, the question is, are you really, really serious? Now, part of that seriousness comes in the gap between your expectations and what you feel you are capable of and what you deserve. I mean, that's another trail. Am I deserving of the 480,000 rand a year? And am I deserving of this 2 sales a month? And in addition to that, am I capable of that? Now, those are 2 things that we need to work on personally. And once you've looked on those 2 things, and it's a slight rabbit trail I'm going down. Am I deserving of it? And these are questions I go through myself, because I've got particular goals, and say, but my goals are like there. And number 1, do I deserve it? And number 2 is that sinful? I mean, this is really personal. If I want to earn that much, and then am I capable? And then I'm thinking, a lot of it, my mindset is changing to I'm capable, I'm deserving, it's not sinful. I'll give a lot of it away anyway, or I'm, you know, meeting certain financial commitments that I've got, or whatever. So that there's that side of it, but there is the overriding all of that is, am I determined to get it? And am I willing to be accountable to achieve that goal? So if I'm really serious about this 2 sales a month, therefore I'm going to put a plan together. Talking about that plan, we've spoken about the goals from in November last year. We went through the Win in 2024 playbook. If you haven't got it, let me know and I can send it to you. Work through that, right? And I'm happy, as I said a few weeks ago, Solomon came to me 2 weeks ago and said, Solomon, many of you will know Solomon, my good friend, my very good friend in the industry and just overall good friend. He says to me, David, he wants to talk to me about accountability and like, what is his plan? So he went through this financial plan, this plan. So he said, you've got this and this and this plan and this and this and this. I said, well, what does that mean? And it means you need to make X number of phone calls and whatever. So we went through the plan. I don't have to do it. He came to me to be accountable. Now, he's not in my team. He's in a competitive company. I don't really care. The thing is that I'm here to help. And if you guys want to work through this yourself, then I'm quite happy to help you through your plan. Just on the plan itself, there's actually a lot of things that we can do and you should be doing, right? Now, and all of you are in different places. What can I recommend, and this is something which I'm going through myself, is write down, first of all, you need to spend time on your own. In the daily rush and tumble of things, you need to carve out that space. Just say, number one, what is my goal? Number two is, how do I think I'm going to get there? What are the activities I need to get there? And then, but within that action, you've got quite a lot of things that you can be doing. You need to bed down the 2 or 3 that you are going to do this year. I know, for example, one of you said that you were cold calling. It's not really working for you, so you're going to be hitting the door knocks because that works better for you. Fantastic. Well, then let's double down on that. Let's get going with that for the next 3 months. Let's really get into it. Be accountable. I'm going to make 20 phone. I'm going to make 20 door knocks a week. In fact, you're making like a lot more. But let's say, and then on the accountability that we have every 2 weeks that we're going to have is that you're accountable to that action. David, I'll go hit 18 for the week. Okay, cool. You know, going to analyze why you hit 18 and not 20. Is it unrealistic goal? Is it just impossible? Or, you know, actually you had a bad week and you were ill disciplined. You should have hit 25. Being accountable for those actions. So it's the number one is, so just to go back to the steps again. Number one is the understanding of accountability, that I'm willing to put myself out there, because number two is I've got a really strong goal and I'm actually determined to get that goal, and I'll do whatever it takes to hit that goal. There was a sense of desperation for me over the last 2 years that, you know what, I need to change. I need to hit financial goals. I need the different levels of the goals in the different areas of the businesses I've got. I need to actually change. I need to be better. So I go to a psychologist. I've got a coach on, for example, and I have to be serious about it. And is it growth? Is it frustrating? Yes, it's flippant frustrating. In fact, like, have you seen me talking about that? Seeing the video I put up the other day for this Build Africa, like Steve Johnson, he didn't even comment. All he did was put it through AI and he put all those pictures in it to hide all of my nonsense. So I am really bad at it, and it's very frustrating and very hard. And you know what? I'm going to sign up for Toastmasters next week. Toastmasters, because it's going to get me 7:15 every month, every Wednesday morning. It's going to, for an hour and 3/4, I'm going to join Toastmasters. It's not that expensive, and it's going to get me to speak better. Now, I might not be better in the next few months, but hopefully by the end of the year or next year, I will be a little bit better. And you know what? In the struggle, in the determination, one does get better, and I will get better. So that's my, by driving, but reading something on the weekend, and it's that sense of, I don't know how I'm going to get better. I feel totally inadequate, but you know what? I'm going to get on all the tools and I'm going to drive down it, and I'm just going to pitch up at this meeting every Wednesday morning. I think it's online a lot of the time, and I'm going to get better. So what is those goals that you want to get to? What is the action plan you're going to do that? And in that action plan, you're going to maybe work through it with someone like myself or another colleague, just to get down to those few core actions you can be doing every week. or the few core strategies that you're going to be doing every week. And then you're going to be accountable to those actions. And in 3 months' time, you're going to reevaluate the actions that's worked or not, and then either continue with it or adjust it a little. And then lastly, what are your habits and routines? Also in this Winning 2024, we spoke about your morning routines. What are you doing between 5 and 6 in the morning, between 6 and 7, 7 and 8, 8 and 9, 9 and 10, 10 and 11? What are the actions that you typically are hoping to do within those? Because it's within the context of I am determined to be better and to grow. Now, I know I'm preaching to the choir with many of you in my journey with each of you. You are growing in your discipline, you're growing in your habits. Some of you are coming off quite a low base. Some of you are on a slightly higher base because of your past experiences. It doesn't matter where you're starting from. You've got to start somewhere. Okay, so that's in summary what I'm basically saying is, is just on the journey, understanding the word of understanding the idea of accountability, having that strong goal that you're determined to get, financial goal within your business, working out how you're going to get there. So for 2 sales a month, therefore it's 10 mandates a month. To get 10 mandates, I need to do 20 valuations. To get 20 valuations, I need to make 300 phone calls or 300 contacts, whatever it is. And then you're having those daily habits and routines to do that. How am I going to do those 300 phone calls a month? Well, every day I'm going to do 20, for example. Okay. So that's kind of the flow. How's it going to be worked out? Well, let me just share a screen. We will every 2 weeks when we connect, our meetings will be at 9 o'clock every second week, in between the family time meetings. So Steve Johnson will have his family time 8:30 to 9:30 every second Monday, and then ours will be 9 o'clock in between those Mondays. Because of the Build Conference, I'm not sure whether we're having this meeting next week Monday or the following week. There was supposed to be a family time meeting today, but because of the Build, there's no family time meeting today, and therefore maybe next week. Either way, we'll know later this week whether next week Monday morning 8:30 is going to be family time or whether it's going to be 9 o'clock accountability. Okay, let me just share the screen. Okay, very simply, many of you will know the spreadsheet. What are the inputs? Let me change, how do I get now? Okay, the inputs are lead generation activity. So these are the inputs. What are the lead generation activity you are doing? What have you done in the last 2 weeks? What have you done? And it could be facing interaction, it could be cold calling, could be social media posts, interaction with database, that's calls or emails, anything else. And by the way, social media posts does not include a WhatsApp update, that's fine. But social media post means I put something on Facebook or Instagram or X or whatever. Now, you don't have to be doing all of these. It'd be great if we could do all of these, but I would specialize in 2 or 3 of them and go dig deep on each of those. If you're going to do social media posts and that's a key strategy of yours, then do it flipping well. Make a strategy about it. Get to know about it. Look at videos on YouTube as to how social media posts work, etc. Don't just faff with it. If you're going to do cold calls or learn there's scripts that we've got. Do it well. Work with those that have done it. Understand how to do it well. Face-to-face interaction, door knocks. As I say, belly to belly. Go into coffee shops. There's all different strategies. We look at Steve Johnson's, by the way, Steve Johnson's update is resources. The modelexplained.co.za/resources. He's got lots of lead generation activities on the top section of that page. Some guys never do cold calling. They own it. This one guy, he's got 6 or 7 different sessions on it. He will go into a coffee shop. You'll literally start each morning with no leads, and you'll end up selling house by the end of the day. That's because he's incredibly good at his strategy. Other guys have got different strategies. I mean, I just find it with lead generation on building a sales team. Some guys only work on cold calling agents, and some guys never cold call an agent in their life, and yet they build their teams as successfully either way. The way you build your your lead generation on your seller leads is going to be different for each of you. Now, I'm happy to work with you individually on working out your strategy, and then you're going to be accountable for that action, that strategy that you set up. Okay, I know it's hard, but it comes down to, this is why your why is important. Why, that's why we always start with sales training, is to your why. How freaking determined are you? How serious are you? And then you work your plan and you're accountable to that plan. The reason for this meeting every 2 weeks is to be accountable to your activity that you said you're going to do. And then what's your output? What's your, this section, oh yeah, by the way, let me just go on to the top one. This is really, an output is really additions to database, but I put it in here is to build your database. Whether you're building it as the agent workbook in Winning 2024 says, so I want to see here, there's different ways of building your database growth goals. In point number 7, cold calling or circle prospecting. It could be social media followers added, your cold or internet prospects added, your general contacts added, your client contacts added, your agents added. So there's different ways of building your database. When you get a bit more technical, some of you are building your database of 50 or 100 people that are willing to refer you. We need to talk to you individually as to what are you doing with the database? Are you emailing them every week or every month? Are you making a phone call to them every few weeks or every 3 months? Is doing something with the database, but the starting point is to build that database. Okay. Steve Johnston on the blueprint, lead generation blueprint, talks about that and what you can do with that database. But as you are sales professionals, guys, this is what you do every day. You should be able to start riding a bicycle. This language I'm talking about should increasingly be more comfortable for you, because this is what you do every day. Okay, so that's your input. The second side is, what are your outputs? Is some of you need to get more seller leads. Your mandates are not looking to seller leads, then your valuation appointments, then your new mandates you're getting. So you might have 10 seller leads, you might have 5 valuation appointments, you may get 2 mandates out of it. Once you've got your mandates, what are your buyer leads and your buyer appointments? You may get, and I'm seeing this on the rental side at the moment, I get rental leads on the Spinoni project in Joburg that we're doing. There's 10 leads, but there's only 4 appointments. Why is that? What's the reason for that? I've got 10 buyer leads, but I've only got 4 buyer appointments. What's the point? What's happening there? And then once from offers to purchase received, how many have I received? I need to actually put in here. Obviously we could insert OTPs closed. Basically deals closed. And you know, we can add in rentals closed here as well. Okay. So just on this side, if you look at the Glover Agency accountability, these guys have meetings at 7:30 every day. That Glover Agency. How many contacts did you make yesterday? How many appointments did you set yesterday? How many appointments did you go on yesterday? How many contracts did you sign yesterday? How many people did you add to your database yesterday? So I'm very easygoing. You guys have got it easy. Every 2 weeks you've got to have this information. But what it does mean that you're tracking this information, by the way, every day. Now, a professional would have their own little spreadsheet or own little paper where they are checking this out. As a professional, how do you know if you're succeeding or not? As I've got our rental business, how do I know if our rental business is succeeding or not? It's because we are tracking the occupancy levels in our units that we manage. We're tracking the collection rates. We're tracking the leads that we're bringing in. That's what I'm doing as a rental business. As a rental professional, I'm doing that, right? As in our rental business. Surely as a sales professional, and I want to grow my business, sales professionals are doing this. They're tracking the activities they're doing and then tracking the outputs. Okay. Okay, cool. So that's it from me. Every 2 weeks, there's certain of you know that you have to be attending these meetings. You know who you are. And then there's a bunch of team members that don't have to be here, but it's up to you, really. You want to have a sense of accountability. If you're not accountable in this environment, be accountable in some environment. Okay. Be accountable in some environment. Have a business coach or a coach where you're accountable. Have a one-on-one. Maybe one of you guys once a month can say, David, I need a one-on-one with you at 8 o'clock on once a month on a Monday morning. It's then put in. The meetings are in. I've got my thing up here, my calendar up to my left on my wall here, and I've set up meetings for the next 6 months or 9 months with our team. And I've got every month, I've got a rental management meeting. Every 3 months, we've got an action plan for the 3 divisions of the businesses. And then we've got accountability every month thereafter. I've set up these pre-accountabilities. Okay, that's what we do as a professional business. As a professional, each one of you, work it out. And it could just be one thing. You know what? I'm not expecting, by the way, for each of you, that there's going to be 20 KPIs and there's going to be this and that. And I've got 20, 30 plans and I've got a lead generation strategy. You know, I've got like fancy videos happening out every day and I'm making 50 phone calls every day and I'm not doing 13 door knocks on a Saturday. I'm not expecting perfection. I'm expecting 1 or 2 or 3 things that you're going to dig down and be accountable on. Okay. Your business will then develop over time. In my rental business, on our rental business, our KPIs that develop over a period of time. We get more sophisticated as we go along. The sophistication, what I do in a rental business, is nothing compared to the sophistication of my brother. I've got a twin brother he's got a much bigger business. And the level of accountability and sophistication he's got in this business is way more sophisticated than mine. And do you know what? It doesn't matter. I've got a sense of accountability for the business that we're in. On our sales side, guys, each of you got your own businesses. Have that sense of accountability. I know some of you and each of you want to get further. And I've said to some of you that you've got the ability, you've got the motivation. What you need to do is bring in a bit of structure and accountability. That's going to power your business up so much. Okay. Cool. It is hard. It is difficult. But then again, nothing amazing wasn't done without a bit of difficulty and challenge. Otherwise, it'd be pointless. Okay. Any comments or questions, guys? We're all different places, by the way. Sometimes some of us are in valleys, some of us, and I'm just determining, well, if you're -10 in that valley, let's help you to get to -9. If you are +10 on the top of the mountain, let's get you +11 on the top of the mountain. It's just moving forward, right? And some of us are in a place where things are sticking because, I don't know, I just haven't worked out things yet. Well, then be accountable. Then call me up and say, David, I'm stuck. Let's chat. I will chat through with you and slowly but surely tease you out that we can just keep it simple, that you can move forward, right? Temba, Lebo, Sidwell, any comments? Clinton, is this okay?
Yeah, I'll say you say that the work that we do, I think it's important because it's definitely going to be well worth it once we put all those actions in. And I like what you're saying about different places, about valleys and troughs, and giving it a rating. I'm just looking for progress and improvement from where we're at. So yeah, I think the discipline action is important. And yeah, once we get through it and we review after a month or whatever, after a week, we can see the little steps in the right direction, and it all adds up. So yeah, I think it's something we've all got to do. And as you say, it's not easy all the time. I mean, life is has its challenges besides just the work that we do. So, but this is all part. And I think looking at that WIN 2024, there's the wheel of life. So, there's so many different spokes and areas for that wheel. And yeah, we just got to make sure we're doing something in as many of those aspects as we can, and have that balance and have it working together. So yeah.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, talking about that wheel of life, there's a reason why every one of you are on this call. There's a reason why every one of you are in real estate or thought about reaching out to becoming a estate agent. Let's get back to that. Let's get back to that. and then we work down it. Which is quite funny. I like with my age, unfortunately, it's I don't want to talk too much about my old age now, but you know, when I start running again, or I've been more serious on running this year, it's quite hard, eh? Yes. Like running 3Ks is a hassle. Or then I do this biokinetic stuff, and she gives me these funny exercises, and it's like, frick, this is ridiculous, it's stupid and like difficult. And then you do it, you don't feel like you're making much progress, and you look a week or 3 or 4 weeks down the line and say, hang on, this is much easier. Like, why did she give me this such easy exercise? You know, like this is nothing. Um, and then, you know, and your running becomes easier. Still, it's always a challenge, but you realize actually, just by sticking with the process, you make progress. It's amazing. It's like, you know, if we look at where we're starting from, we're always going to be demotivated. But it's not about where you're starting from, it's the fact that you're starting. I mean, a good first step, by the way, is coming to this meeting, which I appreciate. Some of you haven't been coming to the meetings, and we had some chats, and now you're coming to the meetings. Hey, that's the win, guys. It's a tick off the box. Fantastic. Next step is, okay, let's give some thought as to, after this meeting, what I'm going to do next. Okay. Zeko, Brucey, anything else? Any comments?
No, I think this session was a great reminder of why these accountability meetings are there, and how they, like, the kind of benefit that they have on our personal growth and our business as a whole. So yeah, I think this was a very important one, and I look forward to having many more of these for the rest of the year.
I look forward to it. And take these meetings seriously, by the way, guys. So if you know you're going to come to the meeting on Monday next week, let's say it's next week, well then, sheesh, I better get some phone calls done today, because I've got to report next week Monday. That's as simple as it works for me. I'm seeing my coach next week. I've got to do something about it. Quickly scramble to do my actions. But the actions are then done, right? At least mostly. That's it. That accountability, having that rhythm and routines in place is just power in itself. Okay. So yeah, let's do it. Any other comments, guys, before we close off? See, I look at each of you guys, by the way, and I know each of you personally to a certain extent. I believe that you can do it. I really do. I'm not saying I can't see some challenges that you got to face, etc. I know I'm not disputing that at all. But I do think if you get out of your own way, I do believe that you can be successful. And some of your success may be R1 million every 6 months, and some of your success may be R1 million over 2 years. I don't really care what that amount is that the successes that you envisage for yourself, I do believe is possible. If you're determined enough and to work the resources enough, and a part of it that is being accountable, being super accountable. You know, one or two of you I just spoke to you last week is that if you just put a bit of framework into your life, you could achieve amazing things, as opposed to wallowing all over the place. Set your track, be accountable on that track, and get going. Okay. I believe in you. Start believing in yourself. And let's keep going. Okay. Guys, I look forward to keeping in touch with you. I'm a phone call or a WhatsApp away. And spend that time over the next few days thinking about what are you going to be up to, what are those goals. Go back to that worksheet which I've sent. Go back to on my YouTube video on planning for 2024. Winning 2024 is on the David Beatty Property YouTube channel. Have a look at it. I mean, it's not about me doing it. There's plenty of planning videos out there. You don't have to see my one. You can see others. I've tried to summarize what I've seen of the best, but spend some time, really look at your goals. And it's an ongoing journey, guys. I do that, you know, I'm going to do it with myself as much as anyone else. On my wall here, which you can't see, I've got my certain goals. I've got to remind myself, okay, what am I going to do today? What am I really doing this about? You won't be able to see there, but those are there. Those are the goals I've set myself. Business, EXP, that's a rental business, EXP, my running, and my family. And in my seat, you won't see my seat to my left, is that whenever I sit there, whenever I jig around, so sitting there, I'm then reminded about what are my main goals, what am I doing it for? And it's just a struggle to get down to those goals. I'm not saying, I'm for 6 weeks around the break, it's like struggling. Why must do this and that? What's really important? What's this? What's the goals? It's a mental struggle, and you don't have to be perfection. Just write anything, whatever you feel your heart. And sometimes it's best to ignore the stuff, and it comes down to, you know what, I must feed my kids. Then that's it. Go for it. If that's your goal, go for it. Guys, that's enough. I look forward to seeing you. You can do it, and let's keep it up. Okay, cool. Chat soon, and we'll be in touch. Okay, thanks, guys.
Well, thanks, Dave. Have a good week, everyone.
Thanks, Ed.
See you this week, eh?
Yeah.
Thank you. Thanks. Hey.
Thanks for seeing. I'll send you guys the recording as well, so you can look at it when you can. Okay. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, David.
Cheers,
Bye.
cheers.